Thank you for selecting Lumora for your custom bolus applications. In this video, you're going to see how to use Lumora for the first time, the activation phase, how to identify it in the labeling, and also some tips and tricks for some typical uses. There are a series of videos where we'll dive into more specific applications, but the purpose of this video is to walk you through the overall introduction and initial uses of Lumora. As you get more and more experience, you'll find better and better ways to apply it and increase your tips and tricks methods for using Lumora. Selecting your Lumora, you'll identify what sheet of Lumora you have. I have two of our sizes here. So on the label, you'll see the sizing of the sheet and then also the thickness. So here's a 30 by 30 by 0.5. You can also identify it by the part number. Here's a 3005. That indicates 30 by 30 and 0.5 centimeter thickness or 5 millimeters. Here's a 30 by 30 by 0.3, again, as another example. So check your label, select your thickness, and let's move on to activation and molding. Lumora has the protective covers, which you remove. They're not you don't leave those on during its use, so we can remove those. We can also leave them on and actually mark and cut on it as well, as you would prefer. So whichever way works better for you. All right, I have my full-size sheet of Lumora, and in this case, I'm going to be demonstrating forming Lumora over a immobilization mask. So I'm going to do a sheet. In this case, I'm going to kind of thinking about bolus over this area, maybe a scalp or just a purpose for having bolus over the head area. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of draw what I think. I'm going to kind of make mine rounded. Like that. Okay. All right, so I've marked my shape that I'd like to use. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Now Lumora can be cut at any stage. I'm just doing the pre-cut for my application that will look like that. Lumora is best used with the available non-stick sheets. This is a Teflon sheet, and it accompanies a mesh sheet like so. So we first put the mesh sheet down and then place the Teflon sheet on top, and then we'll put our Lumora on top of that, and that will ensure the smoothest use and application when you're using dry heat. Taking the prepared Lumora that I just trimmed out into the dry heater, I'm going to remove these two protective sheets. They're no longer used. Now I have the bare Lumora, and I'll place that directly on our non-stick sheet that's available specifically for Lumora. All right, this particular piece of Lumora has been in this dry heater for about 3.5 minutes. And we're beginning to see activation around the edge, and we have that slightly less translucent milky view in the center. This is really beginning. I think we're 30 to 40 seconds max before I want to use it. A real key tip and trick when you're using Lumora is to activate it the appropriate amount or not overactivate it. What I mean by overactivation is heating it to the point where, for example, if I got busy and left it in the dry heater for it's been 4 minutes now, but if I left it 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, I would have overactivated it and it would be totally perfectly translucent. And when I went to use it, I would be dealing with something that was like really easy to stretch and be a little too malleable, and it just is harder to work with. In some instances, that's a benefit, but typically we want to activate it just to the right amount where it has some structural integrity but still formable. So that's what I've done now. We're looking at 4.5 minutes now, and this piece of Lumora is ready. And I want you to look at, first of all, that we have our special Lumora nonstick sheet under it. That allows it to easily remove from the sheet, like so. And notice it doesn't leave any patterns, and it's nice and smooth. So here you can see the translucency on the edges and a little less translucent sort of in the center. But that gives me still great moldability. Whereas if as I'm handling this, I can feel a little more stickiness toward the more clear translucent parts and a little more workable. So that's a trick in keeping it, a little easier to work with. What you don't want to do is put it in your heater, leave it, and just get to it whenever. You want to kind of monitor it and use it in that time. So I'm going to mold in this case over this mask. So I have an open face mask, so I can mold it right over the edge of the mask. And I can find that place, or I can find another place. And I'm going to, actually, I think I designed it for this way. So like that, bring it over and mold it like so. Increasing its activation will allow for more moldability as well. So that's a consideration also. And I'm going to mold it like so. There you go. So I've gone over the mask edge. That's fine. I'm just going to mold it to that edge, eliminating air gap. This could be helpful to give me some guiding indexing to place the Lumora back. So molding to more features just means that the Lumora is indexed and positions better ultimately. So whether you need a small piece or a large piece, you can see I've just completed the molding here. I'm pretty much do not need to handle it anymore. I'm just kind of tend to enjoy the process, so I want to just make sure it's good. But that's it. That's going to now cool. And so since I put it in the water bath till this point, 6 minutes and 50 seconds have gone by. To complete cooling this, we're going to look at about 3 more minutes. So we're typically 8 to 10 minute mark to complete any Lumora application from start to finish. I'm going to just remove it from this mask, like so. We have some small dimpling that matches the mask. And we have, as you can see here, the matching shapes. So it's maintaining its shape of that. Now I'm going to find my position, which was there. I can tell by these little indents that were where the mask was. So I have that visual cue. So I have that there. So that is the fit. Depending on how it is, you may need to assist it a little bit with some tape, but it's going to be wanting to work with you very much. I mean, this is really what we want to see. So simple as that. We have the shape as an example. There's our bolus. Place it. Use my little visual cue I had. Find the position. And there it is. Lumora Custom Bolus over a mask. This particular piece is 0.5 cm thick.